good morning, everybody. It's Good Friday. Good to be with you guys for our daily devotional. Before we jump in, I just want to let you guys know about what our services are looking like for this weekend. We're going to be gathering digitally, of course, and so tonight for our Good Friday service is going to be broadcasting live on our Facebook stream at 5 p.m. and at 7 p.m. and also on YouTube as well. And then Easter, really excited. I got my nice fancy clothes on for Easter. Live on Facebook, 9 a.m., 10:15, 11:45 a.m. Join us for the weekend as we celebrate just the end of Holy Week, the Passion Week, as we join with the culmination of the resurrection. And I think just for me, I'm feeling trying to make peace with a few things that have changed, right? I'm making peace with the fact that I love our Good Friday services and coming together and just really reflecting on the cross and what Jesus has done, and making peace with this year, just Easter looking different, The resurrection has not changed, praise God for that, and yet some of our traditions and things have changed. And so I'm making peace with that. For us, one of our traditions is an Easter egg hunt for the adults, full contact. So, that's fun. But, making peace with just different areas of what's changed. And today I just kind of want to remind myself and maybe just you guys that, during this change, this pandemic time, that there truly is no greater source of peace than the words of Jesus on the cross, right? The three words, "It is finished." There's peace on this affirmation of finality that Jesus says, right? There's so much uncertainty right now where we're seeking kind of endings and things like that. Like, how are things going to end, right? When will the virus end? Find a cure, right? When will this isolation end? A lot of these things are unknown, and yet one thing is known. One thing is known, and read this in John 19:28 through 30. It says this. It says, "After this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said to fulfill the scripture, 'I thirst.' A jar full of sour wine stood there. So they put a sponge full of sour wine on his hyssop branch and held it to his mouth. When Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, 'It is finished.' And he bowed his head and gave up his spirit." It is finished. That's the reality that our eternity can be secured because Christ has finished what the Father sent him to do on the cross. You see, the cross cured our biggest sickness, right? The sickness of sin that separates, that severed relationship with our Creator, God. And yet Jesus, this is what's good. He comes to atone and sacrifices for our sin. He restored the brokenness and took our sin on the cross. And that's good. And that's why Friday is good, because Christ did what we never could do. And yet, that Friday, I'm sure those who followed and loved Jesus, they probably felt far from good. And they probably were trying to make peace through that, right? They probably felt far from hopeful. I can imagine Mary seeing her son in anguish, and John watching his friend, his Lord, be crushed and broken. And yet, what they didn't know was that God was working all things out for the good of those who love him. And as awful of an event as the crucifixion was, even more joyful of an event that Resurrection Sunday would be. I love it, the truth of it's Friday, yeah, but Sunday is coming. Hallelujah. So today, on this Good Friday, take some time in the midst of making peace with things that just feel wrong or broken or troubled or just aren't going to be the same. Meditate on Jesus' words. It is finished. That his finished work allowed for peace, right? That is greater than any sort of temporal situation, right? Eternal peace is greater than anything that's temporal. His work is eternal. His work of sacrifice brought forth, allowed for peace in the area that we truly needed it most, the restoration of our relationship between God and man. And as you meditate on Jesus' words, "It is finished," I'd encourage you also meditate on his work on the cross, right? Realize the pain, the sorrow, the separation from the Father, right? Death. Allow that work to be felt, to be known, so that we would not take that today or any day for granted, right? The cross came with a cost. You see, the cross came with a cost. So let's be reminded of that today. And as we acknowledge this day and await the hope to come, as we share in the truth of what the resurrection brings. Hope you guys have a good Friday.